All right, let's looking at some simplifying some algebraic fractions. I think a lot of the time, number properties can let us down when we get to simplifying algebraic fractions. So let's just look at an example and step things through. Let's imagine we've got a rectangle here. It's got a length of 8 and a width of 4. I hope you'd agree that the area is going to be 8 times 4, which is 32. But I just want to point out a few interesting things about how we might express that. So if the question was something like find half the area, well, what you would hopefully agree is that we're just finding this part here and shouldn't be too tricky. Half of 32 is 16. So this area in green must be 16. But what we want to do is we want to write that as a fraction, right? We want to write 8 times 4 and we're halving it. So we're all dividing by 2. And we obviously know that that's going to be 16. But what I suppose is important to point out is that what we can actually do is we can do 8 divided by 2 multiplied by 4. So that would look something like 8 divided by 2 multiplied by 4. We also could have done 4 divided by 2 multiplied by 8. So it'd be 8 multiplied by 4 divided by 2. In any case, we get 16 as the answer. Let's just step through these so we're super clear. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then 4 times 4 is 16. Similarly, 8 multiplied by 4 divided by 2 is 8 multiplied by 2, which is 16. So we can sort of get an insight into some of these algebra properties by doing something like this, because then the question becomes a bit more tricky. We start to introduce letters, right? Pronumerals. And so, well, let's do that. So let's say that this other rectangle has a length of x, and this larger length is 2 times that. It's double the length. So it's 2x. If our question now was to find half the area, well, let's have a think how we'd do that. Let's set up the fraction. You would agree that this length here must be x, because if it's half, we're halving one of these lengths. So half of 2x is just x. And we'd set up the fraction like this. We have to find half the area. It'd be 2x multiplied by x, and then we're going to divide by 2. So using the properties from before, we're going to take the 2 divided by 2 at the front, and then we're going to multiply by x squared, just like this here. And then we think to ourselves, all right, what's 2 divided by 2? If I've got 2 pens and I share it with 2 people, everyone gets 1. So anything divided by itself is 1. So what we get is 1 multiplied by x squared, which is just x squared. One group of x squared is just x squared. And that should make sense. Let's look at the side lengths of this green square. It's x multiplied by x. So it must be x squared. So that's just hopefully a reasonably straightforward example of simplifying some algebraic fractions. Really what's happening is the 2 divided by 2 becomes a 1. So what you'll often learn is just cancelling the 2's. That 2 cancels with that 2. But the reason is because it becomes a 1, and anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So let's look at a problem that you can try out. And here's the problem. Find half of the area of this rectangle. This length is A, and this length is 4A. See if you can come up with an algebraic expression for half of that area. Good luck.